Hello friends, in this video we are going to talk about the determination of the osmotic pressure. Okay, in my previous video we have already discussed what is this osmotic pressure, what are the phenomena for the osmosis. We have also discussed about the event of relationship and determination of the molecular weight via this osmotic pressure. Okay, in this video we'll see some of the method by which we can determine the osmotic pressure. Let us see what are those methods by which we can determine the osmotic pressure. The first method will be Pfeffer's method. Okay, Pfeffer's method. Okay, we'll talk about this method in detail. The second method will be Morse and Fraser's method. Okay, and the final method which we will going to talk about, that is the most important, that is the Berkeley and Hartley method. Okay, so let us start with this Pfeffer's method. Okay, so let us begin our topic without any delay. So as you can see that we'll begin with the Pfeffer's method. Okay, so before starting the Pfeffer's method we must know the history about this determination of this osmotic pressure. It was first started by Abbe Nollet. Okay, he was the first to observe, or we can say to measure, the osmotic pressure, for which he used the pig bladder as a, what he used the pig's bladder as a semi permeable membrane. Okay, to measure the osmotic pressure. But it was found that the measured value was not coming out to be appropriate. Okay, this is because this pig's bladder which he used as a semi permeable membrane is not a good type of a semi permeable membrane. Okay, so later a botanist named Prefer, see this Prefer, he was a botanist. He successfully developed the technique for preparing a good semi-permeable membrane and performed the measurement on the osmotic pressure. Okay, let us see how he developed that semi-permeable membrane. So Prefer invented a instrument which he called the Prefer cell apparatus. Okay, the full name of this Prefer was Wilhelm Pfeffers. Okay, what he does, he measured the minimum pressure needed to prevent the pure solvent from mixing into a solution across a semi-permeable membrane. Okay, he developed a semi-permeable membrane by depositing depositing gelatinous gelatinous copper ferrocyanide in the pores of an earthenware pot, and he used this to act as a semi permeable membrane. Okay, so his semi permeable membrane was quite more effective as compared to the pig's bladder. Let us see what are the principle of this Prefer's method. As you can see here that this is the porous pot. You can see this is the porous pot, which will act as a semi-permeable membrane. We know that the porous pot having the deposit of the copper ferrocyanide in its pore. Okay, and we can see that inside that porous pot he filled the sugar solution. Okay, we can see inside that porous pot he filled the sugar solution, and outside that porous pot there is a vessel, as we can see, and that vessel is filled with the water, that is a kind of a solvent. Okay, so what basically will happen? Basically, this water is a pure solvent, so it will tends to flow inside this porous spot by crossing this semi permeable membrane, okay, inside this sugar solution. And as we can see that here, this is the initial level of the sugar solution, and from this initial level, when the water will flow in, this level will increase to the maximum level, and upon reaching the maximum level we will experience the hydrostatic pressure. Okay, so this is the basic principle of the Pfeffer's method. Okay, and when this hydrostatic pressure will be exerted, then we know that it will stop the further movement of the water molecule inside the solution. So now let us see the Pfeffer's apparatus. As you are seeing here, this is the Pfeffer's cell apparatus. Okay, here we can see that there is a solution being filled inside the porous pot with a semi-permeable membrane. We know that the porous pot having a deposit of the copper ferrocyanide in its pore, and we can see that this porous pot is being connected via this tube with this manometer. Okay, we can see that it is a mercury manometer, and this porous pot is being connected with a tube to this manometer. Okay, and we are seeing that it is filled with a solution. And how it will be filled with the solution? It will be filled with solution from this side. Okay, as we can see that this is a kind of a small tube through which the solution is being filled inside this porous pot. And we can see that here in this vessel there is the presence of the solvent. Okay, we have seen that in this vessel there is a presence of the solvent. So basically what will happen by the osmosis, that this solvent molecule will tends to flow inside this solution by crossing this semi-permeable membrane. Okay, and in doing that, the level of the solution inside will increase. Okay, and in doing that, it will exert certain kind of pressure upon this mercury manometer, mercury being filled in this manometer. And this is a scale, kind of a scale, where we will measure the level of the mercury, and by this way we can calculate the pressure exerted by the osmotic, that is we call the osmotic pressure, in order to maintain the equilibrium. I hope that I am very clear with you all. So now let us talk about the disadvantage of this method. Okay, the main disadvantage of this method is it is slow. This method is slow because it might take a couple of days to reach the equilibrium. Okay, and we know that at equilibrium the difference in the height of this mercury column will give the osmotic pressure. Okay, the difference in the height of this two tubes, we can see this two tube of the mercury column will give the osmotic pressure. And as we are seeing that it is a slow process, so it will take a couple of days to reach the equilibrium. Okay, and the second disadvantage is that if the pressure is high, the membrane may break. Okay, at high pressure the membrane may break. Okay, the membrane, here we are talking about this semi-permeable membrane, which is a deposited of the copper ferrocyanide in the porous pot. Okay, so these are two main disadvantages of this Pfeffer's cell apparatus. Okay, this was improved by Berkeley and Hartley method. We will look after that Berkeley and Hartley method in the next video. But now let us talk about one more important method, that is the Morse and Fraser's method. It is also quite similar to this Pfeffer's method, but there is certain difference. Let us see what. As you can see that this is a diagrammatic structure for the Morse and Fraser's method. Okay, Morse and Fraser's method. Okay, so basically what happens is, in this method the solvent was taken inside the porous pot. As we can see, the solvent is taken inside this porous pot, okay, having a semi-permeable membrane. This is a porous pot having a semi-permeable membrane inside which the solvent is being taken, okay, and the level of the solvent is being maintained with this tube, okay. So basically the solution will be taken inside this bronze vessel. As we can see, it is a bronze vessel, and inside this bronze vessel will have the solution, okay. So we know that, and we can also see that this bronze vessel is been connected with the mercury manometer, okay. It has been connected with the mercury manometer, okay. So basically what will happen, this solvent from inside will move towards the outside, okay, by crossing the semi-permeable membrane, okay. From this porous pot it will move towards this bronze vessel containing the solution, okay, where the osmosis. And as we can see that here we have a kind of a tube which will maintain the level of the solvent inside this, what it is, inside this porous pot, okay. So basically we can understand that the level of the solution in this bronze vessel will kind increase to the maximum level, and upon increasing to the maximum level it will exert a pressure on this mercury manometer at the equilibrium, and we can measure that pressure in this scale, and by measuring that pressure we can easily calculate the osmotic pressure, okay. So I hope that it is very clear to all of you about this Morse and Fraser's method. I hope that I have tried to explain you in a much clear way. In my next video we'll talk about and most important method, that is the Bernoulli-Hartley method. So please stay tuned with me and do subscribe my channel for more video lecture on the chemistry. Thank you. Please like and subscribe.